Hey, what's up? So, it's Christmas Eve, by the way, and I was like, you know what, I want to sit down and make one of these because I haven't made one in a few days. But I was thinking about this, and I was like driving the car and doing those little voice things, or whatever. Like you're just like, hey Siri, write this, and I was thinking of how to title this, and then I was like, you know what? I was thinking when a glimmer of hope fades away, and because it sounds like poetic and sounds a lot of stuff, but truth be told, when you lose something or when something happens to where your life almost like I don't know how to describe it. It's like when a car breaks down or something like that. When something like that happens, it's I mean it's like when you get sick and you're like, oh shoot, like now suddenly everything's a lot tougher. That's kind of what I mean in the sense of whatever. It could be anything really. It doesn't have to be like anything crazy bad or whatever. But when your life starts to like something breaks when your life pretty much breaks down is what I'm saying and then you get that glimmer of hope. Like it's equivalent, like I was saying with the car example. Car breaks down. You think you fix it. You're driving, and then it breaks down again. But this time, even worse, and your car's totaled. Like it's, or I don't know how it works. I'm not whatever. But that's kind of what this whole idea of what I'm talking about is, and it's one of those things that you don't kind of like. It's tough to wrap your head around until you not just experience it, but experience it and then live in it. And that's one of those things that I didn't anticipate for. Like, okay, let's be honest here. Who anticipates losing a parent? Like, even if you think about it, you can't really think about it because you're not really feeling anything close to what it would be. So you don't anticipate that. But what I really didn't anticipate is because going through that process, lost whatever though, going through that process to where it was really tough, whatever years. I had that glimmer of hope, had that for a few weeks, and then the my car whatever broke down even worse than before. And that's one of those things that I really can't think of when I've heard someone talk about it. Like, because you hear people talking about going through tough times and this and that. You never hear. I don't often hear about someone go through tough times, then a good thing happening, and then a good thing and then you go through a tougher time. And that's one of those things that I feel like is so important because at a certain point, just sitting back, looking at my life, or sitting back and looking lives, like listening to a billion different podcasts or reading books of other experiences or all that stuff, you kind of see that life is kind of orchestrated in a way that best suits you and what you're going to be and what you're going to do, no matter what you think of it or not, and no matter if you think, oh, this is terrible, or oh, this is great, and oh, this is that, oh, I don't like to be these people, that people, why am I in this situation? It all kind of orchestrates itself in order to make you the person that you become, if that makes any sense. And so when it comes to losing that thing and then losing it again, it's almost like a reinforced, or for me at least, it reinforced the fact that I need to struggle. I need to ruminate in the pain. If I don't know how else to phrase it, but it's like it's almost like it's not just supposed to be some like little short term. It's not an appetizer. This is a full course meal. This is I don't know how long I'll be in this situation, but it could quite literally be a decade of really tough. And that's going into that is it's like who really realistically wants to go to a decade of the toughest years of their life? But what's interesting is I do. I like it's weird. I like I do. Like and initially I probably didn't, but it's when something feels right, even when it's tough, I feel like it's intoxicating. Like it's almost like a toxic relationship, intoxicating, toxic. It's kind of like that to where it's like I know that theoretically, and what I've heard and what I've seen is that this should be a bad thing or whatever, and stuff like that. And I should have wanted to cling to that thing that got me out of here, that glimmer of hope. But realistically, what if that glimmer of hope was only a way to motivate me more and cause me to do more things? And almost like okay, if, let's say if you go through the thing and then you like your whatever of what you're gonna do, or like the way you think and the way you act, your perspective, your comfort zone, everything kind of if it broadens like this, you get the glimmer of hope. And what I've talked about and what I've seen, I don't even know if I'm talking about, but it is that once you kind of find that like rhythm, once you're like in love and all that stuff going wrong, you kind of stay within whatever it is that you created. It's not like, at least in my own experience, you don't do more and try more and do all that stuff nearly as much. I don't think when you're comfortable or when you're comfortable, when you're all this stuff versus when you're uncomfortable. That's when you almost have to. That's I feel like when that happens the most. So that's what I'm saying. When you have that glimmer of hope, okay, if that glimmer of hope turned into be a thing that caused my life to suddenly be what it was, or even better than what it was back when, I there's a very high likelihood that I don't start trying all this new stuff that I tried out of the pain, out of the toughness, out of all this stuff, out of necessity, pretty much. I wouldn't have done that thing. So almost that like glimmer of hope for that thing that sparked that in me. gave me whatever. So, like what I'm saying about like, okay, I don't know how long it's gonna be. There's a part of me that it's weird. I don't know if any of y'all can relate, but there's part of me that obviously like you want to be in love, you want to feel good, you want to have those emotions. There's also a part of me that's like, but if I could do more, like if I could handle more or whatever with the man upstairs, but if I could go through more, why not while I'm in this situation? Why not like maximize what I can do instead of just being like, oh, get me out of this, get me out of this. I want it to be easy. Like it's like I almost like I want to maximize what I can do because if I know if I can go through whatever the hell it's been since like 2018, 19, then why can't I do this for a few years and why can't I build upon what I'm already doing and build upon mentally to do more or even think more? Like it's one of those things that to where this glimmer of hope fading is almost it's almost not the right way of saying stuff because what it did is it like gave me like a it gives you like a taste of what it is. It's I don't know how to describe it, but it's like but it's like when a shark smells like blood in the water, and then like whatever they're like you're like that much more like you're hungrier, you want it more. That's kind of what I feel like it does to you when you have it and then you lose it again. It can either I feel like it can either crush you or build you up even stronger. So for me, and the way like my life, I'm like I I like really like the fact that it was a glimmer. I like that a lot. And now don't get me wrong, it's been the toughest 2 years, whatever, since that faded. But it also has been the most challenging and the I've done the most through failure, through whatever people say, through just my own like just struggling, whatever you like to phrase it. I've done the most in those 2 years, even more than I did the 2 years after that stuff. And so I'm like, I don't think it's a bad thing. I really don't think. And on paper, when people talk and all that stuff, it's there's like this assumption that it's like that that I almost like that I want this stuff that I want it to be over that I want the things to make my life stable or like the things to kind of get my life back on the rails. But I'm like, but part of me is like, obviously I want happiness also, but I want that fire to grow. And to anyone else out there, it's just when you feel like there's a purpose to life, even if people around you don't think don't think there is, or even if they do, even if that person or this person says this or that, even if you're failing constantly failing, even if it seems impossible, that fire, that motivation, stuff like that, it almost makes it like I'm not gonna say not matter, but it almost well, it kind of overwhelms it all. Like so, like whether it's good or good or bad, whether it's someone criticizing or someone like saying good things, it almost does the same thing for me. Like it almost motivates me. It just motivates me in different areas. Like when someone says like, "Oh, I like this," or "Nice job, this," or whatever. Like I'm like, yeah, but I almost think the criticism feels me more. But I think it does the same thing. But like when but like even the thing of the glimmer hope fading is one of those situations where obviously I can't control it, but it was one of those things that it could have theoretically. It's not a thing that was impossible to be a thing. Like it's not like okay, with glimmer hope was falling in love and all that stuff. It's not like it's not a impossibility for the person to like you back, but it was a situation where with this girl, whatever, did not like it was not impossible, but it could have been whatever. So I'm thinking about I think about this stuff. And I'm like, why does this feel like all the stuff that's been in my life has been to push me to do something more, be uncomfortable, or go through pain, or go through this and all that stuff, and ruminate in it, and not just like be in it, but constantly be put in situations to where I can't do anything but feel it, and it makes me be like, maybe that's just a bunch of excuses for life to motivate me. So to anyone out there who's going through stuff, use that stuff as motivation. Like really dive in and be like, you know what, if I'm gonna go through this, why can't I do that? Or like whatever it is, use that time to like figure out what it is you want to put that energy into and then do it like a rocket ship and go crazy. And sure, it might take forever, it might whatever, but just put in the time little by little. And you could do amazing things. So you gotta think when you go through stuff, it gives you the ability to handle more. So if you go through stuff, why not try more? Like that's what I don't get. I don't get the idea of like going through something and then going right back to what everyone expected or what everyone expect. Like it's like I'm like if you can do that, why not shoot for higher, like much higher things than ever before. Like it feels almost like a thing. So like that glimmer of hope painting, it honestly probably motivated me a billion times more than if it would have worked out. You know, I was already motivated there. So I'm like, okay, that was a big blessing. So I didn't go out there going through stuff, failing, losing, whatever noise, all that stuff, and all that stuff is what just use it as a way to grow and see what the hell you're here for. We're all here for something, so you might as well discover it. And there's a very good chance, and you know, life is giving you just it's giving you stuff in order to figure that stuff out when you go through stuff. Like I learned stuff about I learned the most about myself through painful stuff. So it's like use it, see it as a blessing, and use it in a way to live the best life you possibly can, and just kill it. I mean, hey, yeah, we only got one of these, so we might as well do it to the end. But Merry Christmas to all y'all. I love you guys. Have a nice time. I'll probably make one more of these before the end of the year, if all 15 people. But yeah, I love you guys. See ya and peace. Oh, I didn't even click the hot button.